Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to Wilderness Wargaming. Learning a little late with this one. We're playing a little catch-up ball, so I'm going to publish this as soon as I get it done for you. But today, if you weren't already tracking, there was an update. The very first balance pass for 10th edition was needed, from what I understand. Have not had a chance yet to play a 10th edition game. I may get to one on Saturday. Don't know yet. But I have to run a Dungeons & Dragons campaign on Sunday night, so I may not have time on Saturday to get out there and do that. I have work to do, and we're still getting ready for our hike. Be that as it may, playing a little catch-up ball, so let's get right into this and see what we've got for this balance pass. So as they say, a couple abilities and points cost in need of a tweak, and today's update rebalances the areas to keep the game healthy. And I have to say right up front, none of these were really a surprise. If there was a surprise in here, it's kind of a surprise in the sense that it's something that they allowed through in the first place, or that they actually remembered to catch some of this stuff. And of course, the Wraith Knights here, yeah, we can guess where this is going. Okay, so first of all, the Strains of Fate receives a change to limit its power early in the game and prevents several Fate dice from using to overcharge a single powerful attack. Now limited to just one use per phase, Eldari players will need to think carefully about when to best apply their prognostications, though units who can manipulate the dice like Farseers will remain as valuable as ever. Okay, so now you can't be piling all 12 Fate dice in a single epic mega straight. Well, I don't know if you could ever do 12, but either way, being able to do 3 or 4 could still be devastating, especially when you combine them with devastating wounds, and then on support weapons you could use another one to jack the damage up to a 5 or a 6 on the damage roll. So that's something, and frankly, I am not at all shocked that that it wasn't 1 per phase to begin with, or 1 per unit per turn, or something like that, or 1 per unit per phase, some kind of thing to prevent a barrage of Fate dice where you're getting the devastating wounds and then jacking up the damage. But 1 per phase is not inappropriate. I'm just surprised it wasn't this or one of those other things from the beginning. I'm a little bit shocked. That should trim that back rather nicely. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. You can download. They have the updated index linked here, and it should be updated on the downloads page as well on the community site. And we also have towering, and this was basically allowing the circumvention of terrain. Now, I think the worst offenders are probably the Space Marine Desolation Squad, just because Space Marines are so common. The big things like the Wraith Knights, they had kind of this combination of the devastating wounds trick and the towering, which really made them deadly. But even Imperial and Chaos Knights could do it. So that's all been trimmed back a little bit, mainly by just giving them points increase. They haven't changed the actual abilities. But if we look at the Munitorum field manual, we're going to see that the Desolation Squads in particular took a hefty points bump. So let's take a look at that. And they've called out the changes in red in here. So Sororitas, okay, the Exorcist went up about 30 points there. That's the one that one might have been a bit much. So I don't think the Sisters had a whole lot else going for them. I probably wouldn't have gone more than 20 to 25. But okay, I'm not going to make a fuss about it. Nothing in Custodians. Mechanicus did not take any hits. Titans probably had this, but I mean, only one Titan that's even in a 2,000 point game anyhow, so who cares? Eldari, okay, the Night Spinner, indirect fire, that went up. The Wraith Knight went up by a lot, about 105 points. Support weapons went up 25 points, if I'm not mistaken. Fire Prism went up 25 points. Now, this one is unique. This is the one that probably needs more attention than the others because it is not an indirect fire or a towering model, but it could pseudo do it with its ability to triangulate its fire based off a single visible fire prism. And I really did think that these things were undercosted at 125, so I am not at all surprised to see that one go up. The Wraith Knight from Forge World, that also went up there. Not as much as the main Wraith Knight, but did go up a good bit. Agents didn't have anything. Astra Militarum has a number because they have Basilisks, of course, Manticores, naturally, Wyverns. The Colossus, I'm not sure exactly what a Colossus is off the top of my head. Never played against any Forge World Imperial Guard models. There's a bunch of Earthshaker cannon, okay. Medusa, Praetor. These are all their indirect fire weapons. Now, this one also is a little, I'm not sure what's going on with the Primaris Sword Brethren, why those went up. I don't know if, I actually never bothered to download the Black Templars Index, but I don't know if they have some kind of indirect fire capability. That would be weird to me. I'm not sure I understand that. If somebody could explain that in the comments, I would really appreciate it. Let's move on here. Nothing under Blood Angels. Chaos Demons didn't take anything. Chaos Knights took a whole bunch, obviously. Anything there with Towering. Got it. And maybe not the... I think the Rampager is the one that's all melee, so maybe that's why I didn't. It doesn't really matter. Chaos Marines. The Corn Lord of Skulls took a hit there, but other than that, the Chaos Space Marines escaped unscathed. I don't own any Lords of Skulls for my Night Lords. I don't care to. This model's just too silly for me. Death Guard. Oh, Death Guard got something. This is not a points increase, but they got the ability to take 7 models in Plague Marine Squad again without paying the premium for 10 in order to match up with their box size. And as you can see, it is at the 20 point per model equivalent that they're at. So that's a good little quality of life pip for Death Guard. Nothing there. Drakari. Don't think Drakari took any hits, no. Keenstealer Cults. No hits. Grey Knights, the Purgation Squad did. A little bit there. Imperial Knights, obviously a whole host of increases there. The Knight Gallant did not. I don't know what the Gallant is off the top of my head. I don't think it's a melee only. Maybe it is. I don't know Knight armies too well. Leagues of Votann, untouched. Necrons. Did Necrons take a hit somewhere? I think they had one thing. Yes. Seraptech Heavy Construct, which is a Forge World thing, I think has some kind of indirect, or maybe it's towering. I think this thing is towering. That's why it took a hit. Based on the fact that it's over 500 points, that's probably a very super heavy of some kind. Orcs. Did Orcs take anything? Yes, the Morkanaut took a hit. Towering. What else have we got here? Space Marines. The Desolation Squad took a significant hit. 50-point bump for 5 and 100-point bump if you were putting all 10. So if you're taking 2 squads, because that's what came in the Strike Force Agastus box. I did an unboxing video on it a while back if you want to take a look at that. It's 9th edition Codex information, but you can see what was in there. That's a hefty bump. And I own 2 squads. That's a little bit irritating, but I can understand it because I think those things were probably committing many sins. The Whirlwind took a bit of a bump. I don't think there was anything else. No. Space Wolves, nothing there. Tau, the Supremacy Armor, presumably towering, and the Storm Surge, both took hits. I don't even know what this thing is. Some kind of Forge World monstrosity. I've only ever run into a Storm Surge once. Didn't like dealing with it much, and I'm kind of worried about them in 10th edition, so I'm not unhappy about that. I do not tower one of my Nemesis armies. Thousand Suns took nothing. Tyranids, indirect fire, of course, took points bumps. And I don't think they did anything with towering. Got a bump. Oh, World Eaters. No, oh, yeah, the Corn Lord Skulls in World Eaters, of course. It's there as well. 525. However, if we go back up here to Chaos Marines, notice that though it's only 480 for everyone else, it's 525 for World Eaters, which may be a little bit of an insult to the World Eaters, but it probably is significantly more effective with their army rules, so that's why that would be. Anyhow, the changes. Things most to note are, of course, the Desolation Squads. The Fire Prisms got included, and the Black Templars thing, which I'm really just not entirely sure about. But other than that, nothing about this was unexpected, and I don't think any of this was unreasonable. I don't know that this will bring craft worlds down from their current towering heights, because I think they're doing pretty well, even if they're not using the support weapons with devastating wounds and not using fire prisms. So I think that craft worlds are going to remain a top army for some time, but I do think it is way too early to be correcting anything other than these obvious game-wide issues. Some people are out there jumping to conclusions about certain armies. Like I said in my quick jumping to conclusions rant, but don't do that. It's just barely started. And I've already seen, I've also seen people looking for nerfs on army. Oh, I played these guys one time that was like this. And I've seen even people calling for nerfs to their own armies because of how they did in a local tournament. Yeah, like, look, dude, how you did in your local tournament against Space Wolves does not mean that you need a nerf to your custodians or your orcs or whatever the heck. That's your sample size is about 1, maybe 4 if we're generous and include all your tournament games. Please don't do that. Still putting some more results in the battle for Augraham, balanced on a knife edge. Hidden space areas are turning it inside the Leviathan box sets. There's still some boxes out there. Okay, well, yeah, it's pretty hard to get a Leviathan box, and I think that's coming to an end. I was never too excited about that idea anyhow. But anyhow, that's all we got for right now. This is going up right away. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment down below, and click the notifications bell for more great content from Wilderness Wargaming. We'll be back with you very soon.